big, massive guy that I was, it was all phony.
Lyle Alzado, oh yeah, he was, steroids. That's what he's labeled as.
How long were you on steroids?
Most of my pro career.
Instead of being remembered for all his great accomplishment,
the Los Angeles Raiders, the kings of the hill in Super Bowl 18.
he got banished because he came out and told the truth.
I'll never know what I am.
It was easy to get the wrong impression of Lyle Alzado.
Look out, Lyle Alzado getting involved with a couple of Broncos.
For 15 seasons, with the Denver Broncos, the Cleveland Browns, and the Los Angeles Raiders, he was a human volcano, always primed to erupt.
Lyle Alzado just throws Ilkin aside.
Alzado reveled in playing the anti-hero and captured the American imagination.
He's a face right out of cave drawings. You imagine John the Baptist looking like this, Joshua, the Old Testament prophets. Plays football with the berserk fury of a trapped water buffalo. He sees himself surrounded by evil. He howls at injustice. He's not a defensive end, he's an archangel.
Put your helmet back on. Don't you know that Alzado had the left hook?
Talk about street fighters, that's how he would describe himself.
When he walked in between those white lines, you were prey.
Alzado comes in, head slap. That'll get you a penalty right there if the official sees it. Watch him, he's giving him everything he has. He's clubbing, face mask, grab anything. There goes Alzado.
Yep, look out.
I'm a violent person. I play a violent game. And anybody who tells me that they go out there to have fun playing football, they're a liar. Because this game isn't fun. This game is a war.
Happiness was the holy grail. I was physically fearless.
I'm Lyle Alzado of the Denver Broncos, and I'm mean, and I'm tough, and I'm the best defensive end pro football's ever seen. Me, Lyle Alzado.
That boy was broken and beaten, but not defeated. He would live the American dream and die an American tragedy, fame and fortune. He became one of football's great pass rushers.
Alzado gets another sack.
Shocked the world when he fought the greatest.
He is the first man to sack Joe Namath and smack Muhammad Ali.
And even became a Hollywood star.
He'll be performing at the Super Bowl. Would you welcome Lyle Alzado?
In the end, there was the big lie.
Being the best is hard to achieve. That's the most important thing in my life right now, is to become the best.
I had this fury in me. I belong someplace back, BC time, somewhere that I could have taken out the hostility that I have in me. Sometimes kids look at athletes and think we're what they're supposed to be. Something they can relate to, something that's a dream.
3 Mile Lyle's biggest fight was in 1979, when he went toe-to-toe with the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
I destroyed Joe Frazier. I destroyed George Foreman. I destroyed Spinks. Sonny Liston, aren't you more a football player?
Lyle, you're about to fight Muhammad Ali. Are you Rocky, or are you just crazy?
He's probably the greatest heavyweight that ever lived, and if you think I'm going to go in the ring and get embarrassed, I'm not going to have that happen. And I'm not bragging or saying that I'm going to beat him, but I'm going to hold my own.
How do the Broncos feel about one of their most valuable properties in the ring with a heavyweight champion?
Now, we're not trying to stop him.
He is not the great white hope. He's the great white dope.
They're about to go out and meet the press. Ali turned to him before they opened the door and he said, "You want to make some money on this? I'll show you how you do it."
This man is going to be world known after this. This is going to be bigger than all his games put together. Japan told him to send a crew in. You're going to have a worldwide whooping.
Part of the excitement was that we all knew.
When the fight comes up on Saturday, I'm giving all the help you can.
Here we go with round one. We're ringside at Mile High Stadium in Denver.
Lyle Alzado fighting in part to fulfill a lifelong dream and in part for charity. This crowd react with every punch that Alzado throws. He is now starting to taunt Ali, and the crowd loves it.
Nobody says it's a serious fight. It's an exhibition, but those are serious punches being thrown.
He has picked the tempo up considerably here in the early seconds of round.
Say that he's the first man to sack Joe Namath and smack Muhammad Ali.
How does this football player, in his wildest dreams, think he can stand in the same ring as I?
There are quarterbacks all over the country who are rooting for Muhammad Ali today.
Like Rocky Balboa, Alzado had gone the distance with the champ, but he was still fighting the demons of his past.
Of all times. Hey, you want to have a good time? You got to have a good watch. Same here, Rocky.
For Lyle Alzado, there was no Rocky Part 2. No rematch where he beats the champ. And 1 month later, the Broncos traded him to Cleveland.
Get the hell out of here with you
guys.
We are going to win a championship no matter what anybody says or what anybody thinks.
He helped turn another losing franchise into a contender, but Alzado still couldn't go the distance in Cleveland. He was traded once again, and the search for happiness continued.
I have a desire inside of me to fulfill some dreams. There's nothing worse in this world than having people give up on you and not believe in you.
Alzado's last shot at a Super Bowl came with a team that would accept him for who and what he was.
So you feel you found a home now?
I don't know if I'll ever find a home, but this is the closest thing to it.
Last Sunday, the Los Angeles Coliseum looked more like the Roman Coliseum.
Fights for a hard-earned three. Alzado going out of his head there, stripped the helmet right on Chris Ward's head and threw it. There goes a flag.
I couldn't believe they didn't throw Alzado out.
Bad enough to take it off the man's head, but then to throw it at him after he's uncovered, that seems a bit malicious.
What about Chris Ward? What happened?
I don't like Chris Ward. He's a big mouth, he's a hot dog, he runs his mouth, and if I had a chance to have him swallow his helmet, I'd have done it.
1983, when Return of the Jedi ruled the box office, Darth Vader led his second team to the Promised Land.
Lyle Alzado has his second sack of the afternoon.
Alzado's return to prominence. It was 3 Mile Lyle's threat to decapitate.
He's a great athlete, and if I get a chance in the game to tear his head off, I'll do that.
Wrapped up by Alzado.
Alzado says, I love this stuff. Super Bowl.
Washington was the defending Super Bowl champion.
The Los Angeles Raiders, the kings of the hill in Super Bowl 18.
Lyle Alzado has to be rewarding for him after so many people have said, well, he can't play anymore.
How significant his journey was until I saw him standing on the sidelines crying.
For one night in Tampa,
You're a world champion, we're a world champion, and I'm a world champion for the first time.
And Lyle Alzado of the Los Angeles Raiders. You're out for the season. You're 36 years old. You're an old man. For football, you're an old man.
Yeah, I could still kick your.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
as his body began to break down, Lyle Alzado went to Hollywood with hopes of achieving happiness.
No more pretty shampoo from me.
Tegrin's tough, 4 times tough. It's got a special ingredient.
When I played football, I crunched quarterbacks. But now I crunch these, JB's Pigskins. The new pork rind.
Still going. Unlike the Energizer Bunny, Alzado's football career was powering down.
I don't ever want to be second best, and I am now. So, it's time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Lasting love eluded Alzado, but he always kept trying.
He was larger than life at Alzado's. It was a bar.
Buy these girls a round of drinks for me, will you?
He had all his memorabilia on the wall.
Have everything you need?
Movie stardom and marriages were not enough to satisfy Lyle Alzado. After 4 years away, he went back to the one thing that had always brought him closest to happiness.
What do I miss most about pro football? Probably the idea of, nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just like the violence. I'm 40 years old, and I would come back in a second.
Raider Minicamp has a special added attraction this year with the return of 41-year-old Lyle Alzado.
This is the best shape I've ever been in my life. I have more muscle mass. I'm bigger.
It would be foolish for either you or myself to say no.
He is pumped up like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's Mr. Universe.
A lot of people, they'll see that you're 41 years old, you're coming back, you look the way you do, they're going to say, the guy's on steroids.
Oh, that's a joke. You know, that is such a joke. Just because an athlete is built well and he works hard and he trains hard, it doesn't necessarily mean he has to be on steroids.
It's kind of an unnatural look. No matter how many weights you lift.
Lyle, when he was making his comeback,
Lyle Alzado's story had always seemed too good to be true, and his comeback was, ending after only one preseason game.
Mr. Davis, who I love very much, said to me that we're going to go with the younger players. I had a dream, and I went for it, and it didn't come true.
He made a deal with the devil. He got fame and fortune.
Lyle Alzado.
In the spring of 1991, as he made a vow of, "Till death do us part" for the 4th time, it became obvious that something was very wrong with Lyle Alzado.
When he got married the last time, that's when the first signs of it happened. He wasn't dancing. We used to dance all night long, everywhere we went.
If you look back at the tape, he was walking a little bit, favoring one foot or the other. About 2 weeks later, they diagnosed him with cancer.
And in his pursuit of happiness, done the unimaginable.
I have everything I've ever wanted and more. You know, I've had a lot of good luck in my life.
But Lyle Alzado was never satisfied and never understood the price of his ambition until it was too late.
He wasn't going to listen.
People would say to him,
I said, Lyle, you got to stop the steroids, man.
It's been real tough down in the trenches. Look at the line play. Alzado is about as strong as there is.
Because of the way he felt inside about himself.
All Lyle was trying to do was just to be a better athlete. He got fame and fortune.
He had always aspired to be the father he'd never had.
You know what, Justin?
What?
You make a pretty good tough guy.
I know, Dad.
When my mother told me that he was sick, maybe it was me being just so young, I didn't believe that a sickness could hurt him.
He looked at me and said, I'm gonna beat this thing. There was no part of me that believed the doctor. The first 10 pounds he lost was almost like 100 pounds to him.
Lyle Alzado had always relished playing the villain. But in the final act of his football life, Darth Raider chose to do something heroic.
This is Lyle Alzado today, over 60 pounds lighter and struggling just to walk.
Looking at myself now, I'm half the man I was. You know, the big, massive guy that I was, it was all, I hate to admit this, but it was all phony.
How long were you on steroids?
Most of my pro career. You know, I played 16 years. And it got me where I wanted, but also got me very sick.
It was a very rare form of brain cancer. I think he felt that was retribution.
I just hope that this interview will convince junior high school, and college students that they can do without this stuff.
He didn't have to say a word. He didn't have to tarnish his legacy. He wanted to be the cautionary tale of, this is what can happen to you if you do this, so I'm going to let you know the truth. I admire him more for that.
I was like a maniac. I outran, out-hit.
All along, I was taking steroids.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done. If I had known that I would be sick now, I would have tried to.
I'm sorry success meant so much to me.
My strength isn't my strength anymore. My strength is my heart.
Lyle Alzado went from a troubled childhood in New York to tiny Yankton College in South Dakota to stardom in the National Football League. And today, he died of cancer at 43.
It was really heartbreaking for everybody that loved him. And you know what the saddest part is? For everything that he gave to everybody else, he never could truly make himself happy.